I'm 94 years old, and I wasted 53 years of my life.
That's not self-pity. That's math. I had 4 children between 1952 and 1961. My youngest left home in 1983. And for 42 years after that, I've been trying to figure out who I am when nobody needs me anymore. Here's what nobody tells you about being the perfect mother. It's a slow form of suicide. You pour yourself out drop by drop until there's nothing left. And then one day, you're standing in an empty house, wondering why you feel so angry at the people you love most. You might be doing this right now, telling yourself later, telling yourself your time will come when the kids are older, when they're in school, when they're in college, when they're settled. Later never came for me. But here's the part that haunts me most, and this could save you decades of regret. It wasn't just my life I damaged. My name is Amelia. I grew up in Philadelphia in the 1930s. My mother told me exactly 3 things about being a woman. Keep a clean house, raise good children, and don't complain. I followed those rules perfectly. I met Robert in 1950 at a church social. We married in 51. Our first son, David, came in 52. Then Susan in 55, Michael in 58, and Jennifer in 1961. 4 kids in 9 years. I was 21 when David was born. I was 31 with 4 children under 10. And I loved it. I really did. In the beginning. I made Halloween costumes from scratch. I volunteered for every school trip. I drove to baseball practice, piano lessons, debate club, gymnastics. I knew every teacher's name, every friend's parent, every dietary restriction at every birthday party. Robert worked at the insurance company downtown. He left at 7:30 every morning and came home at 6:15 every evening. And that was fine. That was normal. That was what good wives did. They handled everything so their husbands could focus on providing. But here's what I didn't know then. Here's the lie I believed for 40 years. I thought I was being selfless. I thought I was doing it right. I wasn't. I was erasing myself, one carpool at a time. You want to know when I lost myself? I can't tell you. Because it happened so gradually that I didn't notice until it was already done. In 1965, I stopped reading novels, not because anyone told me to, just because by the time I got the kids to bed and cleaned the kitchen and ironed Robert's shirts for the week, I'd fall asleep on the couch by 9 o'clock. In 1968, I stopped seeing my friend Dorothy. We used to meet for coffee every Thursday, but Michael had hockey practice on Thursdays, and someone had to drive him, and Robert was at work, and Dorothy understood. Everyone always understood. In 1971, I stopped singing. I used to have a beautiful voice. I sang in the choir before the kids came. But one Sunday, Jennifer had a fever, and I stayed home. Then David had a tournament. Then it just felt like too much effort to go back. See, that's the thing about disappearing. You don't do it all at once. You do it in 1,000 tiny choices that all feel reasonable at the time. I'll read later. I'll see my friends later. I'll get back to myself later. And then it's 1983. Jennifer graduates from college. She moves to Boston for her first job, and I'm standing in her empty bedroom looking at the Duran Duran poster she left behind, and I realize I don't know what I like anymore. I don't know what music I enjoy, what foods I prefer when I'm not cooking for 5 other people, what I'd do on a Tuesday afternoon if nobody needed anything from me. I was 53 years old, and I had no idea who I was. Listen to me. If you have young children right now, you think I'm being dramatic. You think, I'll never let that happen to me. I'll make time for myself. No, you won't. Not unless you decide right now that you matter. Not later. Right now. Because here's what happens. Every choice feels small. Skipping book club this week feels like no big deal. Canceling lunch with your sister because someone has a dentist appointment feels responsible. Giving up your painting class because the kids need new equipment for their activities feels like good parenting. But you're not making one choice. You're making the same choice 1,000 times. And each time you choose them over you, you're teaching yourself a lesson. I don't matter. My needs can wait. My life can wait. And you know what the worst part is? You're teaching your kids that too. You're teaching them that mothers don't have inner lives, that women exist to serve, that it's normal and good for one person to disappear so others can thrive. Do you know what my daughter Jennifer told me last year? She said, "Mom, I'm scared I'm becoming you. I haven't seen my friends in 6 months. I can't remember the last time I did something just for me." She's 48 years old, and she learned how to erase herself by watching me do it. The first year after Jennifer left was the worst year of my life. I'd wake up at 6:30 out of habit. But nobody needed breakfast. Nobody needed a lunch packed. Nobody needed a permission slip signed or a science project finished or a fight mediated. Robert would eat his toast, read his paper, and leave for work. And I'd sit at the kitchen table in that house on Maple Street and listen to the clock tick. I tried to fill the time. I deep-cleaned closets. I reorganized the basement. I cooked elaborate meals that Robert barely noticed because he'd spent 30 years eating dinner while reviewing homework and refereeing arguments, so quiet dinners felt normal to him. But to me, they felt like death. And here's the part nobody warns you about. I got angry. Furious, actually. I'd look at Robert and think, "You got to keep your whole life. You never stopped being Robert. You had work, you had colleagues, you had golf on Saturdays. You got to be a father and a person." I'd see David posting photos from his sailing trips, Susan volunteering at her daughter's school while also managing her career, Michael coaching Little League while running his business. They all got to be whole people. They got to have children and interests and identities. And I'd given up everything so they could have that freedom. I'd sacrificed my entire self to raise them. And now they were out living full lives, and I was sitting in an empty house with 30 more years ahead of me and nothing to do with them. The resentment was eating me alive, and this is where people get it wrong about selfless parenting. They think the problem is that you end up alone and empty. That's bad enough. But the real problem is the poison it creates. When you erase yourself for your children, you don't just lose yourself. You lose your ability to be happy for them. You look at their successes and feel robbed instead of proud. You look at their freedom and feel bitter instead of joyful. I couldn't even enjoy my own grandchildren properly because every time Susan would say, "Mom, I'm going back to work next month," I'd think, "Must be nice." I never had that choice. Martyrdom doesn't create grateful children. It creates guilty ones and resentful mothers. And everybody loses. Your job as a parent isn't to sacrifice everything. Your job is to raise children who understand that everyone in the family, including you, deserves a full life. That's the lesson I learned 40 years too late. So here's the question you need to answer right now. If you died tomorrow, would your children know who you were? Not what you did for them. Who you were. What you loved. What made you laugh. What dreams you had before they came along. Would they? I'm 94 years old. Robert died 8 years ago. My kids are in their 60s and 70s now. They're good people. Successful. Kind. They call me every week. But sometimes I wonder if they even know me. The real me. The me that existed before I became mom. Because I don't think I knew her either. It took me until I was 68 years old to join a book club. 68. 15 years after my last child left home. 15 years of sitting in that empty house before I finally gave myself permission to do one thing just for me. I started painting at 72. Watercolors. I'm not very good, but that's not the point. The point is I'm doing something that's mine, something that has nothing to do with anyone else's needs or schedules or approval. I'm 94, and I'm just now learning who Amelia is when nobody needs her to be anything else. Don't wait 53 years like I did. Don't raise 4 beautiful children and forget to raise yourself. Because you can't get that time back. You can't go back and read those books or see those friends or chase those dreams. The only question is, what are you going to do today? I'm not telling you to neglect your children. I'm not telling you to be selfish or absent or put yourself first at their expense. I'm telling you to stay in the picture. Keep one friend. Read 1 book a month. Take 1 class. Have 1 hobby that's yours. Spend 1 afternoon a week doing something that reminds you you're a whole person, not just a function. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be expensive. It just has to be yours. Because your children need to see you value yourself. They need to see that adults have inner lives. They need to see a mother who is also a person, so they know they can be parents and people too. And you need it. Not later. Not someday. Now. I look at my life, and yes, I have regrets. But I also have today. I have my book club on Tuesdays. I have my watercolors on Thursday afternoons. I have 7 great-grandchildren who see their great-grandma painting and reading and living, not just serving. It's not too late for me. I still have time. And you have even more. The question is, are you going to use it? Or are you going to keep telling yourself later until later becomes never? Because I promise you, later never comes. You have to make it now. Start today. If this resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe. There are more lessons I need to share, and not a lot of time left to share them. And leave a comment below. Tell me, what's the one thing you're going to do differently this week? What's the one part of yourself you're going to hold on to? I'll read every response. Your life matters, not just as a parent, as a person. Don't forget that.